You sit there and wonder why you're not rich, why you're not successful, why your life isn't where you want it to be. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself what you've actually done to deserve it? Have you really suffered for success? Have you endured the pain it takes to be great? Or have you spent your time making excuses, waiting for someone to come and save you? The truth is, nobody is coming. Nobody's gonna knock on your door one day and hand you the life you dream of. You either take it for yourself or you stay exactly where you are, watching others live the life you were too weak to claim. The problem with most people is that they crave success, but they refuse to suffer for it. They want the rewards, but they won't pay the price. And that's why they stay stuck, trapped in a cycle of mediocrity, watching time pass while their bank account stays the same. I'll start tomorrow. That's the biggest lie you tell yourself. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next year. And before you know it, you're looking back at a decade wasted on nothing but empty promises to yourself. Every single second you waste is an opportunity you've thrown away. And the worst part is you can never get it back. The world doesn't care about your excuses, doesn't care about your feelings. The world rewards those who are willing to do what others won't. You look at the rich and you think they got lucky. No, they didn't. They suffered in silence. They worked when nobody was watching. They sacrificed when everyone else was indulging. The difference between you and a millionaire isn't intelligence, isn't talent, it's mindset. It's the ability to push through the pain when others quit. It's the ability to wake up and do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. That's the key. Success is about consistency. It's about waking up every day and doing the hard work over and over again until you force the universe to give you what you demand. If you're waiting to feel motivated, you've already lost. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is what separates the winners from the losers. You say you want to be rich, but what do your actions say? Do you wake up with a purpose? Do you attack every day like your life depends on it? Or do you drag yourself out of bed, barely putting in effort, and then complain when nothing changes? The truth is, most people will never be rich, not because they can't, but because they won't. They won't sacrifice their comfort. They won't take risks. They won't go all in on their dreams. And so they settle. They settle for average jobs, average paychecks, average lives. They trade their freedom for a small guaranteed paycheck, never realizing they're selling their soul for security. What you need to understand is that wealth isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about positioning yourself in the right places, around the right people, with the right mindset. Every billionaire you admire once started where you are right now. The difference is they refused to stay there. They made the decision to be great no matter what it took. And that's exactly what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, life is simple. You either get rich or you make excuses. Which one are you choosing? Let me tell you a story, one that should shake you to your core. There was once a man who lived his entire life believing that success was just around the corner. He always had big ideas, dreams of wealth, visions of a life where he had complete control. But every time an opportunity presented itself, he hesitated. Now isn't the right time, he would say. I just need to figure a few things out first. And so the weeks turned into months, the months turned into years. And one day, he woke up and realized he had wasted his entire life waiting for the perfect moment. But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. The men who succeed are the ones who take action before they feel ready. They don't wait for circumstances to align. They force the world to align with them. You think the successful had it easy? You think they had everything figured out before they took the leap? Absolutely not. They jumped into the unknown, they bet on themselves, and they adapted along the way. The reason most people never become wealthy is because they are paralyzed by the illusion of safety. They sit around waiting for certainty, but in doing so, they trap themselves in a prison of inaction. They let fear dictate their choices, and fear is the single greatest thief of wealth and success. It convinces you that playing small is the right move, that waiting is the smart option, that avoiding risk is the path to security. But reality is brutal. Security is an illusion. If you are not constantly moving forward, you are being left behind. The world is changing every second, and if you are standing still, you are already losing. I've seen men with no money, no education, no connections rise to the top because they refused to let fear control them. They took risks when everyone told them to play it safe. They worked when others slept. They sacrificed comfort for greatness. And while the masses laughed at them, doubted them, criticized them, they kept going. Then years later, the same people who doubted them were the ones asking for a loan, begging for advice, wondering how they did it. And the answer was simple. They refused to waste time. They refused to listen to weak people who would rather drag them down than see them succeed. They understood that success is a choice. Most people are stuck in the same cycle every single day. Wake up, go to a job they hate, collect a paycheck that barely covers their bills, then waste their free time numbing themselves with distractions. They drown their misery in entertainment, scrolling through social media, watching others live the life they want. But here's the reality. If you have time to consume, you have time to create. Every second you waste watching others succeed is a second you could have used to build something for yourself. The rich don't sit around watching, they execute. They understand that the only real security in this world is owning your time, owning your money, and owning your freedom. You have a choice to make. You can either continue living like the masses, following the same script society wrote for you, or you can wake up and take control. The man who succeeds is not the one with the perfect plan. He is not the one with the most talent. He is the one who decides once and for all that failure is not an option. He is the one who understands that success isn't something you wait for, it's something you demand from life. The question is, do you have the courage to demand it? Success is not just about what you do, it's about how you think. Every single outcome in your life is dictated by the way your mind operates. The weak stay weak because they let fear and doubt run their decisions, while the rich and powerful dominate because they refuse to let their emotions dictate their actions. If you want to be successful, you need to reprogram your mind to operate on a level most people are too afraid to even attempt. Most people have already lost before they even start because deep down, they don't truly believe they can win. And if you don't believe in yourself with absolute certainty, why should the universe reward you? The world doesn't care about what you want, it cares about what you demand. And you cannot demand success from a position of weakness. The moment you hesitate, the moment you second guess yourself, you have already signaled to life that you are not worthy of the rewards you claim to seek. This is why most men never break free from mediocrity. They do not have the conviction required to step into greatness. They tiptoe through life, afraid to make bold moves, scared of failing, constantly waiting for the right conditions. But success is never handed to those who wait. It is ripped from the hands of the weak by those who refuse to accept anything less than absolute dominance. You have been conditioned since birth to accept mediocrity as your destiny. Your parents, your teachers, your so-called friends, they have unknowingly programmed you to settle for an ordinary life because they settled. They tell you to get a degree, find a stable job, save money, and retire at 65. But do you think the billionaires of the world followed that plan? Do you believe the most powerful men on the planet spent their lives playing it safe? Absolutely not. They saw through the lie and made a decision most people are too scared to make. They took responsibility for their own success, regardless of what anyone else said. Most people don't even realize they're trapped. They wake up every day working for a paycheck just high enough to stop them from quitting, but never high enough to set them free. They are slaves in disguise, chained to a system that was designed to keep them in check. The wealthy own the companies, the industries, the governments, while the average man spends his life building someone else's empire, never realizing he had the power to build his own. If that doesn't wake you up, nothing will. The only way to escape this cycle is to think differently than the masses. While the weak spend their time complaining about the rich, the strong study them. They analyze their habits, their decisions, their mindset. Because they understand that success leaves clues. If you are broke, it's because you are making the same choices that broke people make. If you are struggling, it's because you are still operating like someone who struggles. The day you start thinking and acting like a successful person is the day your life begins to change. Here's the truth. Wealth is not about money. It is about power. Money is just a tool, a byproduct of value. And value is created by those who control their reality. If you are waiting for permission to be rich, you have already lost. If you are waiting for someone to tell you that you are worthy of success, you will die waiting. The world does not reward the hesitant. It rewards those who take action despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite the odds stacked against them. The ones who win are the ones who decide deep within their soul that they must win because the alternative is simply unacceptable. So what are you going to do? Are you going to continue making the same excuses, living the same lie, following the same broken script? Or are you going to make the decision right here, right now, that you are done playing small? Because once you truly decide that failure is no longer an option, success becomes inevitable. Every single day that you wake up, you are either moving towards success or away from it. There is no middle ground. Every action you take, every choice you make is either strengthening your position in life or weakening it. And most people, they are moving backward, losing ground every single day because they refuse to step up and take control. They waste time, make excuses, and then wonder why they are stuck in the same miserable position year after year. But here's the truth. Success is a game, and only those who play with absolute intensity ever get to win. The weak believe that success is about luck. They think rich people were simply born into it, or that they got lucky. But luck is a pathetic excuse used by those who are too lazy to do what it takes. The real winners of life make their own luck. They wake up before the world, they work when others sleep, they move with purpose while everyone else drifts aimlessly. Every billionaire you admire, every self-made success story was once in the exact same position as you. Broke, unknown, undervalued. But they had one thing most people lack, an unshakable will to win. Look around. Look at how society operates. Do you think the richest men on the planet wake up at 10 a.m., scroll through social media for 2 hours, and then complain about how unfair life is? Do you think they binge watch Netflix, spend hours debating nonsense, and wait for motivation to hit them? No, they attack life with calculated aggression because they understand that the world does not hand out wealth. It is taken by those who refuse to accept mediocrity. The difference between the successful and the failures of the world is simple. One group acts despite fear, and the other group lets fear paralyze them. Most people are so terrified of failure that they never even try. They sit in their comfortable little bubble, afraid to make a move, worried about what people will say if they fail. But here's the secret the winners understand. Failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Every failure teaches you something. Every mistake is a lesson that brings you closer to the goal. The only real failure is the decision to do nothing. Because when you do nothing, you guarantee that nothing in your life will ever change. People ask, what if I fail? The real question should be, what if I succeed? What if everything you want is on the other side of that risk? What if your dream life is one decision away, but you're too scared to take the leap? Fear is nothing but a mental construct, a weakness of the mind designed to keep you in check. But once you decide, truly decide, that you are no longer a slave to fear, you become unstoppable. Think about the greatest warriors, conquerors, and empire builders in history. Do you believe they hesitated? Do you think they sat around waiting for the perfect time to attack? No, they seized opportunities the moment they appeared. They moved first, struck fast, and dominated while others hesitated. This is the mentality you need to adopt if you want to reach the top. You need to move aggressively toward your goals, cutting through distractions, eliminating weakness, and conditioning your mind to thrive under pressure. Because here's the brutal truth. If you do not become the predator, you will always be the prey. Money is not scarce. Opportunities are not rare. But the reason most people stay broke is because they believe these lies. They tell themselves there is enough money to go around, that only a select few get to be successful, that the system is designed to hold them back. But the reality is there is more money in the world than ever before. Trillions of dollars circulating every single day, waiting to be claimed. And the only thing standing between you and wealth is your own lack of action. The average man complains about not having enough time. But let's break it down. Every human being on earth gets the same 24 hours. The billionaires, the CEOs, the athletes, the top 1%, they are given the same number of hours as you. Yet while they are using their time to strategize, to learn, to execute, the average man is wasting his on mindless entertainment, gossip, and procrastination. Time is not the issue. Your discipline is. If you are not obsessed with your success, you will never achieve it. If you are not thinking about winning every second of the day, then someone else is, and that person will take what could have been yours. Success demands sacrifice. It demands you to cut out the distractions, abandon weakness, and develop a laser focus on your goals. It demands that you put yourself in the fire over and over again until the flames forge you into something unbreakable. Because this is what separates the few who dominate from the masses who remain irrelevant. There is no finish line. The second you think you've made it, you've already lost. The truly successful never stop pushing, never stop growing, never stop attacking life with the same intensity they had when they started. They understand that success is not an event. It is a mindset, a lifestyle, a way of operating. The moment you start to slow down, someone else is speeding up, waiting to take your place. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you ready to go all in? Are you prepared to wake up every day and dominate, to remove all weakness from your life, to forge yourself into someone worthy of success? Or are you going to continue making excuses, letting life pass you by, and settling for mediocrity? Because make no mistake, if you are not actively pursuing success, you are actively accepting failure. And that is the brutal reality most people will never be strong enough to face. There comes a moment in every man's life where he has to make a choice that will define who he is, what he becomes, and how his story ends. This is that moment for you, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're ready. The harsh truth is you will never feel ready because success isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about acting despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty, and making a decision that you will no longer accept mediocrity as your fate. The average man lives in an endless cycle of regret. He wakes up, drags himself through the same miserable routine, does what he's told, and settles for whatever crumbs life throws at him. Then one day he looks in the mirror and realizes he's wasted years doing nothing of significance. He realizes that all the excuses, all the procrastination, all the fear, it cost him everything. That moment of regret is the heaviest burden a man can carry, and by the time most people feel it, it's already too late. They have wasted their youth, their energy, and their potential. But you don't have to be one of them. You can make the decision right now to break out of the cycle, to take control, and to force success into your life through sheer willpower and relentless action. The problem with most people is they think success is something they can pursue. They believe it's a path they can leisurely stroll down when it's convenient, when they feel like it, but that's not how it works. Success is not pursued, it is seized. It is taken by force by those who refuse to be denied. The world doesn't hand out wealth. It doesn't reward those who sit around waiting for their turn. It rewards those who demand it, those who take risks, those who are willing to do what others won't. Ask yourself this: who is stopping you? Who is standing in your way? The answer is no one. The only thing holding you back is your own weak mentality, your fears, your doubts, the lies you've told yourself about why you can't do it. But here's the truth: every limit you think exists is self-imposed. There are no real barriers, no real obstacles, only the ones your weak mind has created to keep you comfortable. But comfort is the enemy. Comfort is where ambition goes to die. If you want wealth, you have to kill comfort. If you want success, you have to kill excuses. People love to say, I'll start when the time is right. That is the biggest lie of all. The time will never be right. There will always be distractions, always be problems, always be reasons to wait. The winners of the world are the ones who move forward regardless of the circumstances. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for opportunities. They create opportunities. They force results. They don't waste time debating if they should go all in. They already decided a long time ago that failure was not an option. You need to adopt the mindset that you are owed nothing, but you are entitled to everything you take. No one will build your empire for you. No one will hand you millions out of pity. No one is coming to save you. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is work. Ruthless, unapologetic work. If you refuse to put in the effort, then you deserve to stay exactly where you are. That's the cold reality of life. You either make yourself a winner or you accept being a loser. You have one life, one shot, one opportunity to either become legendary or die forgotten. Every second that passes is a second closer to your death. If that doesn't light a fire under you, then nothing will. Most people live like they have unlimited time, but they don't. They waste years on useless entertainment, mindless distractions, and pointless debates, while the truly successful are out there building, creating, dominating. There will be people who try to talk you out of it. They will say you're working too hard, that you're obsessed, that you should slow down and enjoy life. These people are losers, and their advice is poison. Success comes from obsession. Every great man in history, every billionaire, every champion, obsessed. They didn't balance their lives. They devoted themselves entirely to becoming the best, to achieving absolute greatness. If you want to reach the top, you need to be the same. People will laugh at you. They will doubt you. They will call you crazy. Let them, because when you finally make it, when you are sitting at the top looking down at all the people who never believed in you, it will be the greatest feeling in the world. Success is the best revenge. And the best part, those same people who doubted you will be the first to come begging for your help, for your money, for your time, but by then it will be too late. So, I'll ask you one last time, what are you going to do? Are you going to let this moment slip away, waste another day, another year, another decade? Or are you going to make the decision right now in this very second that you will no longer be average? That you will no longer make excuses? That you will no longer accept failure as an option? That from this day forward, you are a different breed, a different level, a force that cannot be stopped? If you are ready, truly ready, then there's nothing else to say. The only thing left is action. Show the world who you are.